On September 13, 1848, a man was working on the field of a railroad construction worker named Phineas Gage in Vermont, America. Phineas, who was a very talented and hard-working man, who was liked by all his companions, was cleaning the mountain rocks with his team. In this, he had to drop a hole in a rock and put a bomb inside it and fill it with sand and then blow it up from a distance. But that evening, when Phineas was putting the bomb in the hole in the stone, he forgot to cover the hole with sand, and the result was that the bomb inside the hole accidentally came into contact with his iron rod. And due to this, a kind of friction caused a spark and the bomb exploded. As soon as the bomb exploded, the rod came out tearing Phineas and fell 80 feet away. But this rod did not come from anywhere else, but the cheekbones of Phineas's face came out from the lower part of his head. Something like this. Now, any ordinary person will feel that the game is over immediately, but actually within 3 minutes, Phineas regained consciousness and reached his ride on foot, after which he reached the hospital near Gapamere with that rider. As soon as he reached the hospital, he jokingly told the doctor, "Doctor, I think a lot of work has come for you today." He told the whole story to the doctor, and the doctor also wrote notes about which we will discuss now. In the beginning, the doctor was not even ready to believe, but seeing the severity of the patient, he was immediately admitted. And it was written in the case notes made by the doctor that the patient was vomiting blood in which small parts of his brain were visible. How does it sound, right? But this was the truth of Phineas. No one could say how this man survived and will survive in the future. Within a few days, Phineas went into a coma, and then another miracle happened to him. He regained consciousness from the coma, but in this process he completely lost his left eye. After 2 months, he began to return to normal. But he was not the same as before, meaning he looked healthy as before. But those who knew him from before, they did not feel the same as before in behavior. The Phineas that everyone liked and respected had a huge change in personality and behavior, so much so that even his close people could not recognize him. And that's why he was also fired from his railroad construction job. Those who knew him from before reported that Phineas had become a little too aggressive. He would get angry at small things and he would curse badly. His wife said that when he was angry, he did not hesitate to raise his hand. All these symptoms indicated a deep problem that was not visible on the surface. Phineas's personality was altered. He was not the same as before. How did this happen? Well, doctors gave an explanation for this. It was believed that both hemispheres of Phineas's brain were damaged. But then, when research was done at Harvard University, a simulation of this incident was prepared. And it was found that both hemispheres of Phineas were not damaged. In fact, only the right hemisphere was damaged. They had found a lot of possible combinations to tear his brain, and he could survive in just a few combinations. So Phineas was really very lucky. And because that rod had torn his prefrontal cortex, the change in his behavior can be fully explained. The prefrontal cortex is the part of our brain where our ego, logic, and complicated thoughts think. Basically, our personality resides here. And because of the damage in this part, Phineas was not really Phineas. He was left alone due to practical problems, and no one wanted to live with him. At first, he used to travel to places, tell his story to people, tell them his wounds, and earn money. But in a few days, this search also ended. That's why he left for a cold country in South America to start there. He started running stagecoaches to feed his stomach. Now, there was an interesting thing here. Running a stagecoach is not that easy. It uses a lot of parts of the brain. It was very difficult to learn this in the beginning for Phineas. But as he kept learning, a strange thing started happening. The remaining neurons of the other parts of his brain started taking the place of those neurons that were destroyed in the accident. And that's why he was able to run stagecoaches. Now, obviously, he could never be completely cured all his life. But according to scientists, it was no less than a miracle that he was able to learn such difficult skills. A South American doctor, Phineas, who had a patient, later said that he had become much better than normal. He was happy and always full of enthusiasm. He did not see any such serious problems. But a few years later, after 12 years of the accident, Phineas died of epileptic seizures. The cause of this seizure was his brain injury. This man's 3.5 feet long rod across his head passed at a speed of 200 kilometers per hour. And even after that, he was able to live for 12 more years. This is the strangest case out of all the medical cases so far. This case gave us a lot of new information about our brain at that time and made it possible to learn a lot of new things. And with the help of these information, neuroscience and medical science could mature to a large extent. So friends, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you liked it and got to learn something new from it. So friends, just answer one question with absolute truth. After listening to this story, do you think this can be true or not? Do tell us by commenting.